Keely from Hooking Love, and today's tutorial it will be about how to make a soap bag or a soap saver, so something very similar to this. Just lift that out a bit so you can see it a bit better. So we have a little pouch that we can put our soap in and close it up and hang it, which is great for when you're showering. It exfoliates and it also will not slip out your hand as a bar of soap will and is wont to. So we are going to start. I am using 2 strands of Aran weight yarn. You could use a thinner yarn or 1 strand if you wish to, and complete it with more stitches. So that's what's going to happen if you were to do it with that. I'm also using, for my purposes, and well, you can see that, but that's an 8mm hook, well used and well loved. We are going to start by completing a chain, so make your stitch, slip knot, sorry, and we will start to chain. So I will be doing a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, yeah, and 1 more, so 7 chains. Now, what we're going to do now is we are going to chain on both sides of the loop. So I am going to miss this first chain and we are single crocheting into the second chain from the loop, and we're going to put 2 single crochets there. So 2 and a single crochet into the next one and the next one and so on until we get to the end. So just put some more yarn out. The yarn's not playing. Right, there we go. Sorry about that. So in the last one, we're going to do 2 again. And that'll just give us a little bit of extra room to go around to the other side of the chain. Okay, here we go. So now we've gone around the other side of the chain and we're going to do single crochet into, so you can see now this was the first stitch, this is the second stitch in that same chain, this is the first stitch and this is the second stitch going in here. Okay. Now this one already has 2 in because this was the first one that we did, so we're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet, and then from now on in the rounds become that bit easier, she says. There we go. So we're not going to do any increases or any decreases, we are just going to keep working up the yarn. Now our first row is going to be half double crochets for this one. So we are going to chain 1, we're going to yarn over, we are going to put it in the first stitch, which is a bit tight on this first one, but it is definitely this one that we're doing. I'm going to pull through, and then we've got 3 loops on, and we're going to pull through all 3, and we're going to continue and do that the whole way around. Sorry, my arm's really not playing. And we're going to do that and do that all the way around. So half double crochets, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops all the way around. So hopefully so far this looks good, and what you'll find in a minute, you'll start to see how this is going to suddenly become a pocket to hold your soap, or a bag to hold your soap, whichever you'd prefer to class it as. The sun is streaming in here. It's absolutely glorious. It's cold. I can't have everything, so I should be grateful for what we've got. And we're now going around the other side of the chain. And let's keep going. And again. And I think this is going to be our last one here. And then we will be, yeah, so slip stitching into the first half double crochet that we made. Okay, so hopefully you can see that that's now going to start becoming the pocket or the bag for the soap to sit in. Now, it's not something that we in the UK have really heard about a lot. It's definitely come over from America. That's my understanding anyway, is that it's more used in America. But these are such a great idea. I love mine. They wash really well, and you do have to wash them. Mine goes in the wash frequently because you know the fabric can quite often not dry out fully. If you can make sure it does dry out fully, then you probably be fine to leave it for a bit longer. But the soap goes in, and then as you're using it, the soap it doesn't foam in the way that those plastic bath flowers foam. You know which ones I mean, where you use like a shower gel and it goes really foamy. It doesn't foam like that, but it does foam. As long as you're not holding it under running water. I will point that out. If you're holding it under running water, it won't. And because you're using cotton, you're gently exfoliating as well, and you are doing that as you are washing. It means that the soap's really secure. You won't have to worry about it falling. So for my parents, for example, they are getting quite elderly now, and they can't do a bath. They can't get in and out of a bath. But my mum particularly would struggle to be able to bend down and pick the soap up. So having one of these means that she doesn't need to, and I'll show you why at the end when I put the little loop on at the end, but she doesn't need to worry about that because she's got a firm hold of this. Now the other thing which doesn't bother everybody, although it's something we really all need to be thinking about, is that you can use all your bits of soap up. So if you've only got a little bit of soap left, you can still use it in here. You're not messing with a tiny bit of soap because it's contained within the bag. And so you could save up all your little bits of soap and put them in and still use them. So great from an environmental point of view, but also from a cost point of view, particularly if you use expensive soaps. I quite like handmade soaps and support local businesses around me that make that type of product. But I know we're all different, but that's another good reason to be using these. So, and of course, if you're making them for yourself, all it's going to cost you is for a bit of the yarn and the time that it takes. Right, so we're now going to go on to one of our bubbles or one of our textured sections. So we are going to chain one, and we're doing another half double crochet. So that's all we're going to do here. Okay, and then we are going to do a treble crochet. So we are going to yarn over twice. Okay, we're going to pop that through, pull your yarn through. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 loops. Remember, these are double because we've got two strands of yarn. So you're yarning over and pulling through 2, which leaves us with 3 loops. Yarning over, pulling through 2, which now leaves us with 2. Yarn over and pull through 2, which leaves us with just the working loop. So now we've got a really tall one next to a shorter one, and we're going to complete this little bobble by doing another half double crochet here. So as we do this, what we then do is force this to sit lower down, which then gives us this little bobble. So you get a little bit of texture. So texture to look at, it looks different than it just all being flat, but also it gives you a bit of texture for when you're actually using the product. So as we're making things, we should be thinking about how we might use it and improve it. Now, if you didn't want the bobble and you preferred it to be a bit more uniform and flat, you could continue to do your stitches as half double crochets. You could do single crochets and just do enough to where you need to. You could do double crochets. You could do completely different stitches. The form itself will not change as long as you are using the right number of stitches around the rows. Okay, so we're going to do another treble. So we've done our half double crochet, let's do another treble. So yarn round twice and pull through, yarn through, yarn through, yarn through. So, and let's do that again. Half double crochet and, sorry, I still need more yarn. And a treble again, so twice round, through, pull through the yarn, yarn over through two, and yarn over through two, and yarn over through two. And then we've got another half double crochet. You'll start to see then that we have these textured sections, and we'll continue in that vein. So a treble crochet, followed by a half double crochet. More yarn, please. This ball does not want to give up its yarn. It's like it's protecting its own child. So a treble crochet again, and half double crochet, and another treble, and half double crochet, and then we are, because of so this isn't a stitch, this is the end of the last one, this is the last stitch in the last row, so I want to end with a treble crochet, so I'm going to go into that one anyway. So sometimes you might find this, particularly when you're just doing something off your own bat. So we're still going to do a treble crochet in there, and that will give us what we need to have another bobble there. And then we're slip stitching into that half double crochet, and there we go. So that's our first row of using a treble crochet to make an almost bobble effect. So it isn't a bobble stitch, it isn't a puff stitch, so we will learn those at another date, but it is a stitch that gives that type of effect. Okay, so the next part is another row of half double crochets. So we're going to go all the way around doing half double crochets. Oh, lost a piece. Come back, Jack, come back. Sorry. I suppose at least I didn't sing, that could have been worse. You know, something makes you think of a film or a song. I don't know if that's just me, but that just made me think of Titanic. Come back, Jack. And so half double crochet round, please give me your yarn, please give me your yarn, and continue to the end. I think what we'll do is we'll do another row with a treble crochet, half double crochet mix, and then we'll see how it's looking in terms of like where the soap will sit. so you can see that it's working how you want it to, because that's another consideration, isn't it, as you're making something. You know, am I making it and does it look how I want it to look? Okay, so slip stitching, and we are going to start this one with a half double crochet. So there we go, half double crochet and a treble in the next. So just in exactly the same way as we did the ones previously, the row, 2 rows down, half double crochet and a treble. Tell you what, this does not want to give up its yarn. I think cotton is always a little bit what's the word? A bit clingier. Oh, that's not quite the word I was looking for, but because of the texture of cotton, it's not quite as slippy. That's probably a better way to explain it. So because it's not as slippy as as acrylic, for example, sometimes I think it does hold on to it a bit more when it's in a ball. So half double crochet and a treble. See, this is the sort of wittering on you get with me. Just random thoughts. Could be worse. So a treble that was, half double crochet, and a treble crochet, half double. So you can see in terms of like the pattern or how we're doing this, it's once you've got, once you know the stitches you're using, you aren't, it's fairly simple, isn't it? Where we're just going from one to another, alternative ones within this section, or half double crochets for the other. Then the other stitch that we're going to be doing is a single crochet and a chain, and that's pretty much it for the whole of the unit. So half double crochet, finishing with that treble, so that again we get that extra bobble at the end. It's all about the bobble. Okay, slip stitch to close that round off. Now, so hopefully we can start to see that we're getting that texture, but you can now see that we've got a little pouch for our soap, and it really doesn't need to be that much longer. This is probably a little bit bigger actually. So I'm going to do another row of half double crochets on this one. Now if you have your soap, this is a great point in which to start looking at how much more you need. So if you use a particular bar of soap, sorry I just knocked the camera, if you use a particular bar of soap, you can start to look at whether I need it any bigger or not. For the soap that I use, I actually don't need this to be much bigger. So I'm going to do my half double crochets all the way around, and then I'm going to have a look and decide whether or not that will be big enough. I suppose what I should have done is brought a bar of soap so I could have shown you what that's like inside. That would have been quite helpful actually, wouldn't it? So half double crochet all the way around. And then we'll decide whether or not we're going to need to do any more. Now, I don't know what day you'll be watching this, because obviously you watch this anytime you want, but it's Wednesday today for me, so we're on a hump day. It's been a good week, lots to be grateful for. It's my grandchildren's end of term, so they've got 2 weeks, so this is their second week. So I've spent the mornings with them, and fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with them, and I am able to spend the afternoons working. So it's nice to have a bit of balance, isn't it, in what you're doing. So it's my first day I've been able to get on and do any videoing. Right, so there we go again. Right, I am going to see if I can find a bar of soap. So I have found a bar of soap. Now you can see, now this is it's obviously a handmade bar of soap, as I said. Very nice actually. It's rose and lavender. If you want to know where it's from, get a message to me and I'll tell you. So you can see, for me, this is big enough for this bar of soap. For a bar of, what does my mum and dad use? Palmolive. So it probably need to be a little bit taller, but in a moment it is going to be a little bit taller. So we don't necessarily have to worry about that too much. But this is the point when you want to go, where is this going to fit in? It can be a snug fit. This is going to be a looser fit, but it can be a snug fit. So don't worry about it being, excuse me, being a tight fit, because it soon won't be a tight fit. It soon will fit really nicely, but you can see that this one's going to be fine for this soap. Now, just put that somewhere safe. Oh, tell you what, the room smells of it. That's good. Right, so we are going to, I'm going to show you how to finish the top of this now. So we've done a selection of half double crochets, and we are going to continue like that. So let's just count how many we've got. We haven't done that yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I am going to then do half double crochets in the next 5. So you'll see my madness in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, yarn's not playing again. 5. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to miss I'm going to miss 2 as well. So I could miss just 1. What I'm doing is I'm just leaving a hole to be able to pull through the loop that we're going to be making in a second. So you could choose to do it like this. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to just take that back. Right, let's go back on. I'm going to do, I'm just thinking about how it's going to sit so that it's, I like it to be a bit, that's the back and this is the front. So I want the loop to be coming here, so it's in the centre. Does that make sense? So I think 2 more half double crochets. 7. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to miss 1. Change my mind completely. So that gives me enough of a loop, a hole there. And I'm going to continue. And we're continuing until the very last half double crochet. Here we go. Now normally we would just slip stitch, wouldn't we? What we're now going to do is we are going to do some chains to make the loop that we can then use, and I'll show you how we're going to use that, as we can use that as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 will be enough, because when we come down to do this, that will give us enough of the loop to pull through and hold on to. Okay. If you want a little bit more length, then feel free to grab a bit more length on that. So you're going to slip stitch into there. Do you know what? I'm changing my mind again, because this is going to leave me a gap here that I'm not that happy about. So I am going to slip stitch and then chain. So, right, ready again. So we have half double crochet to the end. We are slip stitching into there. So we've completed the round, and now I'm going to chain my 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to go back down and slip stitch back into the stitch. Okay, I've lost it. So I'm going to slip stitch back into the stitch, try again. Okay, now obviously I'll be cutting all this off and finishing it off, but now we've got a little loop. Hopefully you can see that. Now that loop, I've got quite big fingers, I've got man fingers really, is big enough for me to be able to put my finger through. So I'd put the soap inside, I would then pop that through like that, and then as I'm using it, I can hold on to the whole thing and keep my finger through there, which makes it secure. So such a great way to be able to make sure that you're not going to go sliding and slipping around with it. The other thing you can use it for is you can use it to hang it up. So if you've got a little hook, then you can use that to hang it up. Obviously, if you want to hang it and your hook needs more space, then make a bigger chain, and that's how you would fix that, really simply. So that, once we've sewn all the ends in and fastened it all off, is your soap sack. I do hope that you enjoy making it, well, I hope you've enjoyed following the tutorial, and then I hope you go and make it. I would love to see your makes. It's always really good to see what you've made with and followed on the tutorial. I'd love to see if it looks slightly different. So if you decide on a different pattern, different size and your colourways, all the rest of it, it all makes a difference, doesn't it, to how the finished item looks. So as ever, thank you very much for watching and take care.